Hello everyone, Brian here with another game of Modern Warfare 2. This is Ground War Team Deathmatch on Underpass. And it's around 11 o'clock at night right now. My wife just went to bed. She had a really long day at work. And we have a 2.5-year-old beagle named Hunter. And he is one of the best dogs I've ever owned. I had gotten him a couple years back as a surprise for my wife. She had been asking me for a while if we could get a puppy, and I quite secretly was looking around different places, shelters, and everything else, and I really just wanted a puppy, and none of the shelters I had found, so I actually ended up buying him from a breeder, which wasn't my first choice. I wanted to do a shelter thing and really rescue another dog, but anyhow, he's a really good dog, and he is even at 2.5, I don't know what the magical age is where they mellow out a little bit and just lose a little bit of their energy, but he definitely still has a ton of puppy in him, and he is just a riot to watch sometimes. He is definitely 100% beagle. He just loves chasing rabbits and squirrels and any other animal that would be stupid enough to come in the backyard unknowingly, and you just watch him take off like a bullet after anything that he sees or can hear or smell inside the yard. But I was letting him in tonight, you know, one of his last bathroom break before he went to bed with my wife. We have a little dog bed for him that just sits on my wife's side of the bed on the floor. And I was letting him in, and I guess a bug was in the patio, and he just loves eating bugs and playing with bugs too. It's like everything he wants to play with. And this, he brings this bug into the house, and he's flipping it around in his mouth, patting it with his paw, and I was sitting there watching him for a second, and I swear it started to look like an episode of wrestling. Every time the bug would move towards the wall or towards a corner, he just swat him back like, get out of the corner, get back in here, I'm going to kick your ass some more. And he's just flipping this thing around, playing with it, and I'm just sitting there cracking up. And I call my wife over, my baby, I'm like, come here, you got to see this. So we're both kneeling on our love seat, looking over the back of it, watching our dog play with this fucking bug. And then we both go up into the kitchen, and the first thing I said was, isn't it just so funny how easily the dog is amused sometimes? And then I stopped and thought about it for a second, and I'm like, the ironic part of that is we were just as easily amused sitting there in the back of the love seat staring at this dog playing with a fucking bug for like 5 minutes. So we were just as easily amused as he was. I mean, what does that say about us? I really don't know, but I actually had to go back and redo this portion in the commentary. The previous video I uploaded, it turns out because of the AC-130 music, the video was restricted in certain countries. It would not be available. And I really just did not want to do that to any of my subscribers I have in any other parts of the world. I want everyone to be able to see every video that I create for you. And I had chosen different music for the AC-130 here and uploaded it as a test. And it turns out that the music I chose for this video was actually more heavily copyrighted, if that makes any sense. And YouTube had informed me that the entire audio would have been muted. And obviously that's just not going to work. So until I find something that I like that is not copyrighted, I'm probably just going to have to go back to the usual way of me doing things and just continuing the commentary entirely through the AC-130. I don't know if you guys really would even care. We'll see if I can get that sorted out. So until then, I take you back to the original version of the commentary. Okay, that definitely was a crappy AC-130. All of them hid inside that building on me. I couldn't get to them, and my teammates couldn't flush them out. Oh well. Anyhow, back to my dog conversation. I have had a dog ever since I was a kid. We had I don't even remember what kind it was, but I was too young to really remember this dog. But it had run away from what I had been told. But the earliest dog I remember we had was a beagle mix. I don't recall exactly what it was mixed with, but the dog's name was Cleo. It was a female. And I mean, that dog was just loved me to death and would let you do anything. You could put your fingers in his mouth, and the dog was just he was just so well mannered and even tempered and well behaved. And towards the end, when he started really going downhill, it was really a shame. Thankfully, I still have a few pictures of that dog from when I was a kid that hopefully I will always have, because that dog was one of the greatest memories I have. And my mother after that had bought a Shih Tzu, and God, I really didn't like that dog at all. Thing was yippy and whiny and annoying. It would snort everywhere, and it was just a royal pain in the ass. But there was a time actually when I had also lived with my grandparents for a couple of years, and my grandparents always rescued dogs, and my grandmother would always take in stray dogs. My grandfather would protest about it and everything else, but he ended up loving the dogs as much, if not more, than she did in the long run anyhow. I guess that was just, his way he would complain about it, but he's a true softie at heart anyhow. But these dogs every morning, the same as my dog that loves doing now, they would love to, on the weekends when I would sleep in, they would both come running upstairs and just lay in bed with me until I was ready to wake up. And I remember after I had moved out of there and bought my own house, this was, God, I don't know, probably well over 15 years ago, back when I was in my early 20s, my grandmother had told me that for, I don't even know how many months, she said that after I had left, the two dogs every Saturday and Sunday would still, like clockwork, run up the stairs and go look for me. And she would just hear the dogs crying and whining a little bit, like, where did I go? Why am I not up here in bed anymore? So I mean, dogs are just amazing animals in my opinion, and I hope that I have one for the rest of my life. Obviously not the same one, unfortunately, but now that I've rambled on long enough about my dog and the dogs I've had throughout my life, I'm curious to know about some of your animal stories. I mean, tell me about some of the pets you have, either now or when you guys were kids, and just tell me some of the stories and memories you have. And so that looks like it's about it for the gameplay. Obviously here, my team does end up winning the game by a decent margin, and my final score is 24-1-6. Good enough for second place out of both teams. So until next time, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. I hope you have a good one.